Got it.
Go ahead.
Welcome into Press Box Live. I'm Stan the Fan Charles, along with my Monday cohorts, Luke Jackson, the managing editor, PressBoxOnline.com. He's the guy with all the baseball hats there. And the guy wearing a hat is Ross Grimsley, the old left-hander, number 39 for the Baltimore Orioles, number 1 in your hearts. We're here to talk a little bit of baseball for the next 20, 25 minutes. Brought to you by the Costas Inn with 2 great locations at Timonium Fairgrounds above the grandstand, right next to the OTB. Same great menu as the original location out of 4100 North Point Boulevard, with one major difference. Don't serve steamed crabs at the new Timonium location, but the rest of the menu is absolutely the same great quality, same great hospitality, and just the Costas flair. So we'll talk about them midway through the show. Also brought to you by the law offices of Byron Warnken, warnkenlaw.com, WARNKEN.com, and also the phone number 443-RESULTS. It's not just a phone number, it's a mission statement for this law firm. If you've been injured in an accident around Baltimore or in the state of Maryland, you want that number, 443-RESULTS, to get the best legal representation you deserve. All right, guys. We were able to win the last 2 games against the Yankees, and that gave us a little hope going into play a weak sister, the Washington Nationals, who happen to be one of the highest scoring teams in all of baseball this year. They can't pitch worth a damn, but damn it if they didn't beat the Orioles 2 out of 3 Friday night, Saturday afternoon. Then the Orioles got a getaway win yesterday and now go to Tampa, the first place Tampa Bay Rays. Luke, what do you think of the matchups, the pitching matchups in its 3-game stand in Tampa?
I think the pitching matchups seem to favor Tampa Bay. That's what I think.
Do you think that?
I do. I was on the fence, but then I read your column.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think Stan's right. I think this does favor Tampa Bay. I'm also a little worried about whatever Orioles, whatever defense the Orioles trot out against what the Rays do in terms of putting the ball in play and running the
Well,
base.
they got an interesting.
So I'm a little nervous about this series. I got to tell you,
they have a little interesting defensive setup tonight. They've got Kobe Mayo playing first base.
Okay.
They got Pete Alonso DHing.
Okay.
They have Taylor Ward, Tavares, and O'Neill in the outfield. Oh no, they've got they got Taylor Ward, Blaze Alexander, Tyler O'Neill in the outfield, Mayo, Jackson, Henderson, and Weston Wilson, with Adley Rutschman catching against Shane McClanahan. Taylor Rogers goes for the Orioles.
Jackson, and where's he? Is he playing second?
Jackson's playing second base. Not Jackson Holiday. Jeremiah Jackson.
Jackson Holiday is in town.
He's in Tampa.
In St. Pete. I don't know if he's been activated for this game as an available bat off the bench. I imagine if he's in town, he will certainly start tomorrow against the right-hander, is what I would imagine. So
that's what I'm assuming as well.
So
where will he play? What position will he play? I think
second base. Although we got a little wrinkle about a week ago when he started playing a little third base. But I'm thinking second base, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I didn't love him at second base in the times we saw him there. I thought he struggled moving to his right a little bit. Although at this point, I don't really love Henderson at shortstop either. There aren't many defenders in this team I like. I really like. Well, Kowser's one of the guys that really can play the heck out of a corner outfield spot, and I think Rutschman's played well defensively. I think he's gotten back to what he is. Otherwise, and Alonso's played a pretty good first base, but otherwise, it hasn't been great.
How about any pitchers? Any pitchers play good defense?
I think Ross needs to put these guys through PFPs. That's what I think.
Hey, we're gonna say if this is going to be a typical Tampa Bay game, they're gonna move runners. They're gonna put the ball in play. So the defense of the O's better be on their toes because they're gonna
Tampa
have
Bay
to make.
puts pressure on the defense.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I guarantee that in their advance report, it says that Orioles pitchers have struggled with PFPs this year and to test
Oh,
them.
what
I
about holding
guarantee
runners?
it's in there. Yep. Holding runners.
Tampa
Yeah.
Bay's going to run too, and the Orioles
Yep.
don't hold runners, so that just puts extra pressure on your
Yeah.
catchers.
Sometimes, Ross, they don't really even give Adley or Basayo a chance
Not a,
to throw
not a
guys.
prayer. Even at
Tampa
second
Bay.
base.
Tampa Bay's lineup tonight is DH Yandy Diaz, first baseman Aranda, third baseman Junior Caminero, right field Ryan Villard, center fielder Johnny DeLuca, left fielder Curtis Simpson, Chandler Simpson. I'm sorry, catcher Nick Fortis, shortstop Taylor Walls, second baseman Carson Williams will play behind Taylor Rogers.
Yeah, Chandler
Guys,
Simpson. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Chandler
No, go
Simpson's
ahead.
one of the more interesting players in the league because, yeah, right now he's got like a 680 OPS, and that's all he needs to cause a lot of havoc. And I can assure you that Orioles fans, at the end of this stretch where the Orioles play 6 out of their next 9 against the Rays, they're going to be sick of Chandler Simpson at the end of that stretch. I can assure you that. Might even be sick of him by the end of the night tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Luke, what do you think the work behind the scenes has been with Drew French and pitching strategist coach? I forget his name, but what do you think the work behind the scenes has been with Trevor Rogers?
Well, he was sick, which probably threw him off of his routine. Ross can speak to that, how that affects a pitcher. But in terms of the work that he's been doing, I just what I've just seen with him is that the sinker's been out over the plate instead of down where he wants it. And the other thing is that he's like just missing off the plate a little bit with his secondaries, but he's not getting the bites that he wants on those. So I just see a guy whose stuff is the same as it was last year. The stuff profile is the same. The velocity against the Yankees 5 days ago was fine. And it's just a command and issue for me, and probably a little bad luck in there where last year he was extremely fortunate and this
Yeah,
year he hasn't been fortunate at all. So
yeah.
I think that it's kind of gone too far the other way in some respects. So I mean, but Ross can speak to this better than me. A
I,
struggling left-hander, what is he trying to do?
yeah.
I tell you, he may have this, a lot of what put him out with I guess the congestion or whatever he had. And a lot of people have had that, and it just it wears you down and it doesn't go away totally. And he may still be suffering the effects of that. If that's going on, then it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get back at full bore where he can think more about pitching and less about trying to breathe, probably, and not spit up a lunger. but
Well,
but yeah,
at least he's not facing 95-degree weather in Baltimore tonight.
no, God, no. It's hot down here, but it's indoors,
Yeah.
so they got that going for him. But like you said, he just hadn't been as sharp. He hadn't got some ground balls right out of the reach of some guys, some misplays and what have you. But again,
So
his command is just not what it was. Obviously, last year, at the beginning of the year, it was pretty good. But he just got, I think, in a situation now where he's going to have to just physically and health wise just keep moving forward. Hopefully.
Keep on
Ross,
keeping
that
him.
question,
Yep.
Ross, was actually meant for you. I probably said Luke, but I meant it for you. What is the work like that Drew French is doing with him right now?
I
Or
I
or
really don't
what
know
would
what
you
they
be
do.
or what would you be doing with him?
Well, again, it depends on how his health is. I mean,
Right.
you can work on something, but if he's not able to throw on the side and work on things as often as you would like for him to do, then they're kind of beating a dead horse, really. But he's a guy that, I mean, he's not the overpowering guy. I don't care what the gun says. He's not an overpowering pitcher. He has to hit his spots. He has to change speeds. He has to be able to throw an off speed pitch behind in the count for strikes. He has to get ahead of hitters and then make pitches that look like strikes. And he can be off the plate. He's just a little bit off the plate. That's enough to where the hitter sees that it's a ball. So he
Well,
takes it now.
he alluded in the post game interview last week that he's not sneaking up on anybody this year. You know,
Well,
they
no,
all
I
got
mean,
to see him last year.
well, he gets in hitting counts, and he can't make the pitch. He can't locate the fastball exactly. He's just a little bit enough for him to be a little bit off compared to somebody else. That affects him more than a pitcher that's got some velocity, because they can miss and still get by with it. A guy that's not overpowering can't do that.
Does he have anything that equates to what Kyle Bradish has done, which is sort of reinvented himself with throwing a lot more breaking balls to set up his fastball
Well,
over the
he's got a
last?
big time breaking ball. He's got that
You're
downward
talking about
breaker.
Bradish. You're talking about Bradish.
Bradish
Yeah.
does.
Does
Rogers has
Rogers have
more.
anything
He has
in
more
his
of
back
a
pocket?
he got more east to west. Bradish has the north to south.
Yeah.
And that's not that. I mean, you got to have some tilt on it. You can't. The ball Mayo hit out. That was a spinner right in the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
And those balls are going to get tallywhacked basically. But he with Rogers, he has to, like I said, change speeds, and get ahead in the count, and just do the little things you got to do, that he hasn't been doing and being consistent. But it's there again. The health, I think maybe the health is not as good as it's going to be.
Okay. Let me ask you about Shane Baz. Luke, the other night I was up in Connecticut actually
Mhm.
at a music concert and was following the game on my phone. And I was thrilled when it was, what was it, 1-1 after six?
That was 1-0, and
One
then
nothing.
it became 3-0.
It became
I
three
forget who hit a
nothing
home
on that
run.
2-run homer by Lyle.
Yeah.
Um, was manager Craig Albernaz, when you got a pitcher that's got it used to frustrate me. Buck would do this sometimes. You get a pitcher with like a 5+ ERA, you get 6 great innings out of them. I think it's pressing your luck a little bit to send them back out for that 7.
Well, I don't think the 2-run homer happened in the 7th. I think it happened in the 5th or 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it,
I mean,
okay.
it seemed like to me that Lyle was sitting on a breaking ball. He got one and he didn't make any mistake with it. Other than that, I thought that Boz was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, he finally went away from the four-seam fastball a little bit, which he has really struggled to command, and he went with the cutter more often. So that seemed like a little tweak that he had made. And if he becomes the problem, so if he becomes more of like a cutter curveball guy, Ross, what kind of challenges would that present for him? Because the entire idea of adding a guy like Boz is that this is a big guy who throws really hard, and he's a guy who throws up to 96, 97, and you would love if he could locate that 96, 97, but he's had such trouble getting ahead in counts to get to the curveball because he can't command the four-seam fastball or has struggled to do that
Well,
this season.
he doesn't command the curveball as well either. I mean, he'll throw a the best curveball you'll see falls off a
Yeah,
table, and
yeah,
then he throws the spinner that is, I mean, it's a cookie for guys to hit. But and the cutter, you can't throw the cutter on the plate, and you see he's going to have to figure out to be able to throw the ball on the inside baseball width of the outer part of the plate, or
okay,
inside part of the inside part of the plate to left-handers. And if you remember watching him pitch, he threw a lot of them that were inside off the plate. I mean, no chance for
right,
a swing,
right.
no chance for a call. That put him behind the count, But the big thing is with him, he's got the tremendous curveball.
Hmm.
He's inconsistent command-wise with his fastball, and
Right,
that's the first thing you got to do. You
right.
got to command your
Command the
fastball
fastball.
and be able to get ahead in the in the count with it and be able to throw your off-speed pitch behind and in the count, just like Rogers. All these guys are in this kind of the same boat, and you watch them pitch. These guys are throwing on the gun now, 96, 7, 98, and they're throwing a lot of breaking balls. I mean, I'm going, if you're throwing 98 miles an hour, you got to have a little more confidence in your fastball, which is really not 98 compared to what, on the gun years ago. But I mean, you still have to use it. If you don't use it, you're gonna not be able to command it. But I think a lot of stuff, pitchers in this day and age, they don't throw like they used to throw because everybody is so worried about them getting hurt and not getting enough
And
rest.
and the more they worry about it, the more they get hurt.
The more they get hurt.
Yeah.
You can, as a pitching coach, as any kind of coach, that can't be, that has to be the last thing on your mind. You got to believe what you're doing is the best, and it's not going to get them hurt. But if you coach scared that anything you do is going to hurt them, then pretty soon they're going to be hurt from lack of doing stuff. It makes no sense. And what I don't have any idea, other than what I was told by certain people, what they do, and the cardio end of it. They don't run. They don't run the way we used to run. The way we used to run pitchers. When they took the running away from the pitching coaches, and nobody in the strength.
What was the purpose of doing away with the running?
You had strength and conditioning coaches who know nothing about what a pitcher does, other than what they've seen and heard, but knowing what a guy that they run, we used to run
because the running strengthens the legs.
And you're running, supporting your own weight. You're not running on a treadmill or an elliptical or whatever. Completely different. Riding a bicycle, completely different. But that was guys after they pitched 120 pitches or whatever it was. The next day, you run the hell out of them. And that went, then you cut back as the days went by. You threw your side day. Sometimes in 5-man rotation, you threw twice in between starts. But you wouldn't throw like they do now. They throw full bore. That's the last thing you want to do. That's, well, obviously, you see what the injury list is like.
Well,
there's a lot of reasons to it, too.
I hope some of the people watching will take a look at my column. I really broke it down to my way of thinking. The Orioles are by far the worst pitching team in our division in baseball, in the American League East, by far. I mean, no other team has an ERA over 4. We have an ERA of 4 point. What was it, Luke? 4.6.
Yeah, it's
7,
like
4.
4.6, 4.7.
Yeah,
4.74.
4.74.
Fifth highest
entire pitching staff
in the game.
Yeah. And also, just the whip is not good. The batting average against the Yankees are, I think, at 222 batting average against. We're 261 batters against.
And that's also a defense stat.
Yeah. Anyway, I also make the point, Ross, you've hit home several times, that Mike Elias, and I think this is one of Mike's real faults. I think he's a know-it-all, and I think that he doesn't want contrary opinions. I think he wants to run the show, and I think he's done a dismal job with it.
Santa, that is just about every person in the game these days.
Yeah.
You can't, they will not, if you want to talk to them about something and you're an ex-player or a coach in a big whatever, they
don't
will
want to
not,
hear it.
they won't discuss it with you.
Yeah.
They are so worried about what they don't know,
right,
that they won't discuss.
They back up everything they know
They
with
will,
the numbers, with the metrics and the numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
And they have, and the metrics and analytics have their place.
Yeah,
but when you rely on it as much as they do, I mean, just watch the game. I couldn't believe how bad the Yankees were defensively. I mean, so they didn't even know who was covering a base. And then when they did, they threw it over the guy's head, an easy underhand flip. I've watched more games this year,
Right.
and I cannot believe the stuff that you see. This is stuff that they should have learned in the minor leagues, but they haven't because so many people are hurt. They're rushed to the big leagues,
The
and you're
rush to
seeing
the big
just
league.
a
All right, let's take a timeout. When we get back, we'll look at the offensive side of things and see if there's a silver lining there. Again, I need your participation in this. How many thumbs do I have for the Costa Sim? Luke is not giving me any. Oh, there
There
he
you
is.
I'm
go.
right here. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
I swear.
giddy up,
He,
Luke.
he was
All
cleaning
right,
them off.
all right, he's cleaning them up. The Costas Inn, two great locations, as we said at the outset of the show, over at 4100 North Point Boulevard. Take this phone number down out there. Nick is running the show there. Pete is running the show in Timonium. At North Point Boulevard for crabs, 410-477-1975. Make sure you call, reserve your crabs, make sure the price point, the availability, and the size you want uh, to make sure that your crab feast is up to snuff. They've got the same great menu there, aside from crabs, crab soup, crab cakes, all kinds of pasta dishes, chicken dishes, steaks, whatever you want. They've got it there at the Costas Inn at the old location, 4100 North Point Boulevard. The new location, it's a little newer, a little snazzier, but same great food, just no steamed crabs at Timonium. Both places open for lunch or dinner. The Costas Inn, we give them 6 thumbs up. All right.
I'll
Also
be there
brought
in
to
a
you.
month, Stan. I'll be there in a month for
All
crabs.
right, we're gonna grab some crabs.
Yep.
Also, or do you want to go to Timonium and not get pork chop?
I'm gonna discuss that with them.
We got to get the Ross Grimsley pork chop
Pork
put on
chop.
the
Yeah.
menu at Timonium. Also brought to you by the law offices of Byron Warnken. WarnkenLaw.com is the website, WARNKEN law.com. Phone number 443 results. That phone number is not just a phone number, it is a mission statement. 443 results. You've been injured in Baltimore or the state of Maryland, and you need top flight representation. Nobody better than Byron Warnken and his team. All right. Back to talking a little baseball. Gunnar Henderson, Luke, got 4 hits yesterday, stole a base, hit a home run. Is he back to being Gunnar Henderson?
Well, let's give it another week, let's say. But obviously, long term, I'm not concerned. Long term, you're not concerned either. Too talented and too competitive to keep him down for long. And so I expect what I really liked is that the home run came against a left-hander.
Yeah.
And he hit the, pardon my French, he hit the shit out of it. And
I
so
was going to say the piss out of it. So we got
Yeah.
both.
He,
We
he
got both.
tallywhacked it.
He tallywhacked it. Yeah.
And so that was great to see, and he looked like Gunner yesterday. So I hopefully he's coming out of it. They certainly need him to.
Ross, were you watching the game yesterday?
Yes.
Did you understand all that Ben was explaining about the new Colton Cowser, who after he hit the home run, he looked an awful lot like the old. They're explaining it again about the new twitch and everything, and it was the same reaction to an off-speed pitch. But I was happy for Colton that he got his first home run of the year. Your thoughts on that explanation of what Colton?
You know what I've watched. Like I said, I've watched a lot of games this year, and some of the things that have been done uh, that are totally wrong. The commentators have made it sound like, he tried to steal that base or try to go to third when the ball's hit the shortstop, and uh, they're just hustling and trying to do. You don't do that, and don't make excuses for them. And you do. And I'm going, no, that's not right. When it's wrong, you got to say it's wrong because you're not doing anybody a favor because the people that watch it are going to think, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
They're being aggressive. Horse crap. That's dumb baseball. Like that's something that you learn in the minor leagues. But yeah, I mean, you're playing
You
the
learn in the
Washington.
minors. You learn in the minors not to do horse crap.
Really, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. You're not supposed to be taught at the big league level. Little things are presented to you, but to the basic stuff. But getting back to Cowser, you're playing against the Washington Nationals. They're not a good team. Not a good pitching team. You should wear them out. And I tell you, it looked like the starters for them they they look really good against. I mean, they were throwing up zeros and no hits.
Yeah.
I'm going, wait a minute. I
This
mean,
is the Washington
you
Nationals.
should tear them up. And all the teams, the A's, Miami, Washington, you should raise your batting average against those teams. And if you don't, that's there's an issue right there. You would think, but
You know,
yeah, it's
the
go ahead.
the best looking hitter on the team, Luke, right now, to me, is Sammy Basayo.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is really hitting the ball well. He looks very poised at the plate, not over swinging, not trying to do too much. He's doing a fine job. Taylor Ward is having the most interesting season. I think he's selling out too much. When you go through a whole game and may not swing the bat,
Right.
and yet
Right.
you're getting the 3-1, 3-2 on every at bat. Do you think he's being overly passive?
So there was a theory floating around on social media, so it's true, that he was hitting the hand about 2 weeks into the season, and it was actually he was the hitter before Alonso went deep against the Diamondbacks, which won that game. And after that, apparently his hard hit rate went down and everything, and he became a lot more passive at the plate. So the idea was that perhaps that was affecting him, whatever was going on with his hand was affecting him more than he was letting on because he's still playing every day.
Right.
But at this point, if you're an opposing pitcher and you're looking at the opposing scout, Ross, if you're seeing a guy who like isn't swinging, but he typically is hit for power, they brought him in not to
Yeah.
walk, they brought him in to hit home runs. But he is still getting on base. Like if you see that kind of trend line with it, are you like pumping fastballs in until he proves that he's going to swing
Look,
the bat? Like
what
what's the
what what I can throw strikes with. Yeah, and he's only hit one home run this year.
Yeah.
right?
But I think
This is a
maybe
home run hitter. Yeah.
somebody made him watch Moneyball. Get on base.
Oh, he's doing
On base
that. He's definitely
percentage.
doing that. Yeah.
God, he said his on base percentage is what is over
Over
400,
four.
I
It's
think.
like 440.
Yeah,
What's his
It's
on
like
base percentage?
420 at this point,
yeah,
something
something
like
like that.
419, 418. I don't know. Like, and to be clear, he is not a problem right now with the
Right.
team, considering the other issues that they have going on. It's just odd. I mean, this is a guy who generally hits. I mean, last year he hit like 36, 37 home runs, but generally he's going to be like
Yeah,
25 to 30 home run hitter.
Right.
He's only hit one. We're almost a third of the way through the season. It's odd. I mean, this is pretty reliable power guy.
yeah.
Are you seeing anything, Luke, that gives you some hope about this offense other than the Henderson 4-hit game yesterday?
Well, at some point, Jackson Holiday will come back, and I don't know if that's tomorrow. I don't know if that's for the homestand, but like, and that's not a moment too soon for Jeremiah Jackson, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully
Yeah.
Jackson Holiday can help, because at this point, I think it's fair to say that Jeremiah has been a little overexposed. Stan.
Just the way he was last year.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Exactly.
September,
And
he
so,
fell
and
apart.
look, and listen, they came into spring training thinking he was going to be like the sixth infielder. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be an
If
everyday
he
guy.
made the team. If he
Right. Yeah,
made
he had
the
to make the
team.
team. Right. And so hopefully that will help. And then you can sort of find spots for Jeremiah against left-handed pitching. But I mean, you look at the back of the baseball cards for guys like Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, Taylor Ward. Those guys should be better. Um, and you just keep running them out there, Ross, and hope that
Well,
they start
that's
playing to
what
their
they did with
norms.
Mayo. They give Mayo the job at third base in spring training,
Right.
and I mean, you're 10 games back, right now. If it gets many more than that, just let him play
Oh,
either
I think that they might have already
make
made
it.
that decision, Ross, because like
Yeah,
Blaze Alexander hasn't played a whole lot in the infield.
right,
And it
right.
seems
I
like they're pretty
mean,
committed to giving Kobe Mayo a long look here to
yep.
see if he can
And that's,
establish himself as
I
I
totally
and
agree with
I and
that.
honestly I don't disagree with that, especially if Mayo keeps making strides in the right direction with his approach and his swing and all that good stuff. I mean, he's got enormous hand speed and enormous power.
Well, he's
And
going to hit
his
left-handers. If they make a mistake, he's going to
Oh yeah,
right-handers
if
going to hit.
left-handers make a mistake against him, it's getting hit a
Yeah,
lot.
and that's going to be his thing. Right-handers can pitch to him.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
just get
yeah.
a hit, throw a breaking ball down the way, and he's gonna chase it. Don't hang it over the middle. He'll
Luke,
knock
you
it
saw
over. He'll knock it through the foul
And you
pole.
know what? He's got the kind of power where he makes me a little nervous when he hits home runs because he hits them so high that it
I
can be hard to tell whether they're fair or foul.
Well,
Like
you
the one
saw
that he hit
that.
on
You saw
Saturday,
that.
I
Yeah,
honestly I thought that was a fair ball, but
it's
you couldn't
very
tell.
close. Yeah, it was
He
hard
hits
to
them so
tell.
high, and he's always done that. He hit a
Yeah.
few home runs at Aberdeen that are still going up. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
he's
just
got that
he's got
basic
tremendous
uppercut.
power.
Luke, when
He's got that.
you saw him play in the minors at Aberdeen. You saw him a lot then. Did he ever hit a ball to right field? It's
That's
just
the
not
one
in.
thing he didn't have a lot of. He certainly has the power to go that way,
Yeah, but he
but he
doesn't.
does not in games. He doesn't show that opposite field power in games much,
Yeah.
and that was always sort of a red flag with him. That this guy's got tremendous power. Why doesn't he show it to all fields more often? And like it's pull power in games. Yeah, I'm sure in
Yeah.
batting practice he hits
And
them
the
out to
Orioles,
all.
by the way, in case people haven't found this out, that Jordan Westberg is done for the season. He's going to have Tommy. Has he had his surgery yet?
Yeah, he had it, I think, a few days ago, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. And
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, you look at the Orioles' record the past few years with him and without him, it's pretty
Big
stark.
difference.
I
Yeah.
mean, he is a pretty good glue guy for them, and
Yeah.
He's a
it just
catalyst. He's a catalyst for that team. The team's a
yep,
complete.
yep. When
Yeah.
Adley's playing well, he can really get the team going in the right direction. But Jordan Westbrook's another one of those
Do
guys. He
you
just
think
does
he
everything well.
do you think he can play third base when he gets back, Luke?
You know what? I was just thinking about this, and I was actually going to bring it up to you that his arm strength when he comes back might be better suited for second base. And to me, Gunnar Henderson is morphing into like a third baseman playing shortstop at this point.
Yeah.
At that point, do you switch some things around where Westbrook's the second baseman, Gunnar's the third baseman, Holiday's the shortstop? I
I
think that,
I think Gunner is controlling that narrative,
I don't
much the
disagree.
way Cal did, and
I will say
Cal
this, all
won
three of those
several
guys have the same agent.
Gold Gloves. What's that?
So all three of those guys have the same agent.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes it
Oh,
harder or easier. I don't know.
yeah.
So you know,
Well, it may not necessarily be that hard when Gunner comes to fruition with his next contract. Might be a fait accompli that he won't play in Baltimore. I don't know. I would certainly be trying to crack that door. I wrote a column a couple weeks ago about a creative way to get him signed, but leave him the opening to become a free agent very shortly into his
yeah,
contract.
and so like Gunner is not the even close to the biggest issue with this team, and I'm not trying to act
No,
like he is.
no.
But I mean, if you wanted to improve the defense next year, one way to do that would be to have somebody who's a little better shortstop play shortstop and have Gunner at third. That would improve the defense overnight. But you would have to sell that to
Is
Gunner, and
Jackson Holiday that guy? Is
I don't
Jackson
know.
Holiday?
I haven't seen him play shortstop regularly in a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
I will say
I
he's a
wasn't
more
impressed with
natural
the
mover
arm. I wasn't impressed with the arm strength.
he's a more
At
natural mover at shortstop than he is at second. Like
yeah,
he struggles moving to his right at second base a little bit, and he's a more natural mover for me at short. But again, it's been a while since I watched him play every day at short.
I still think that
I'd question his arm too, just like
I still
Stan.
think the position might be center field for Jackson Holiday. But I know that's a lot. That's a topic for a different day. All right, guys. Tonight it's Rogers versus McClanahan. what's it? Tomorrow is Boz
Bradish.
Bradish versus. Is tomorrow
Uh,
Bradish?
yeah,
I think
Boz is the last day, I think.
I think
Yeah.
Bradish and Jax, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Bradish and
Tomorrow.
Jacks, and then Schultens and Jesse Schultens
Yeah,
against
as of
Boz.
earlier today, Schultens hadn't been announced, but I guess he's on turn.
I
I
think
don't know.
he's on turn to do that.
And so,
All right,
but Bradish looked outstanding his last time out. His
fantastic.
curveball was dancing.
It's funny. I really like our. If we win tonight, I like our chances to win the series a lot. Won't say they'll out and out sweep them, but you can't sweep unless you win game one. They got a tough customer they're facing tonight in
So,
Shane
have you seen
McClanahan.
McClanahan? Have you watched him this year?
I have not seen him, but I know
Okay,
I
this will
see
be
his
my first
numbers.
time because I mean it was a long road back for him from
Yeah,
Tommy John, a long road,
yeah.
and but he apparently just looking at the numbers, he's back to
His
being
numbers are
his normal self.
fantastic. Yeah,
You know, he was born in Baltimore. I don't know how long he stuck
did
around,
not
but he
know
was
that.
Baltimore born. Yep.
Maybe he'll want to come here when he's a free agent.
How about right now? That would be nice.
Move,
That
move
would
the
be
fences
very
back.
nice.
A lot of guys will come here.
All right. Hey, guys, I appreciate it. We'll do this again next Monday. All right.
Yeah.
For Luke Jackson and Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan. Thanks to Costasin and our friends at Warnken Law. That's going to do it for today. Game time 6:40 tonight on Masson. And again, it is Shane McClanahan against Trevor Rogers at 6:40. Bye for now.